Hi, this is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching, going over today's ES trades. This is Tuesday, December 17th, 2013. Just a reminder, nothing in the blog, the Twitter stream, stock twits, or in this video should be considered a trading recommendation. Trading futures is very aggressive, and you can lose your entire investment. Consult with an investment professional before deciding whether futures is right for you. So let's jump right into the educational part of this and learn what we could learn from today and what we're looking at this morning and how that interpreted into actual taking action. So I had to go to my daughter's spelling bee this morning. I wasn't here for the open. But one of the things that I highlighted in the morning was that really the need to get into and above Globex high for any upside action to take place. And I had pointed out that on most up days that we had after big gaps like we had yesterday, that the days that it tended to roll to the upside, right, those usually actually started with a gap down and then a move back up and through Globex highs to new highs on the day. And I said usually when we gapped up into them, we ended up with either balance days or down days. And so we did gap up, if ever so slightly. We did move into Globex highs, and we were met with immediate response of sellers out of the gate. And I kind of had a feeling we would get that. I was not here to take that trade. Now, the first question that comes up, right? So let's take a look at how that looked on the volume profile. One second here. So this is the ES daily profile, and this is the 24-hour, right? And this morning when I was highlighting areas, I was highlighting this right here. And I really stressed that we had to get above this 1782 area in order to make any upside progress. And if not, we had a lot of space open, and then I pointed out that these smaller areas, right, would be the first areas of support. And then this lower area down here with we have 1767 being a bit lower in between, and should provide some support, but not a lot of support overnight. And so the whole point of that was, you know, when we come into the day, we already know 1782 is going to be critical, right? Even if you're not taking a short there, you certainly didn't want to chase into that area. So let's take a look at the daily really quick and see if that could have given us any clues and see what that looks like afterwards, right? When we were talking about the daily profile, we were talking about how we had this gap, right? But that most gaps like this, right, like we had here, that the follow through, even if we have a gap the next day, right, that generally, unless it gaps down, we tend to have some downside motion. And that's exactly what we ended up with. The open was almost at the high of the day, and we got a roll to the downside, and we found support about the middle of the trading range from 2 days ago, right? And I also pointed out the other day that this snapback, as vicious as it looked, because it really came from, if you look at the overnight levels, 1754. So we accomplished our first objective, right? We stood clear of the 1782. So if we look at the day, right, so if we come into the gap, obviously we didn't have a whole lot of rotation here, right? Even if we opened at 1781, the move into the 1782 area was a very small rotation. And so if you're a very aggressive trader, you could take that short, but we're right above the white zone, right? And I also mentioned in that pre-market, well, it turned up being a recording for a lot of people. Not a lot of people caught it live. But I also mentioned if we open in this area, right, that I really would rather see it trade into the white zone, right, as opposed to, and because we were opening right there, that I really wouldn't take a trade from the white zone off the open, but that I would take a revisit the second time through, right, which would bring us back all the way over here. I'll highlight. That would bring us back right here. I actually had the white zone a bit smaller than I normally do. I will not make that mistake. I will not make that mistake. It should have been down at 78.50, and I had it at 79.50. So lesson learned, no big deal. I'll get that fixed tomorrow. The other thing that we talked about, right, if we want a big rotation, I had highlighted and had printed, and you can look at the post work here, but I'm going to pull this up really quick. So I know this looks awful, but I think you can get the idea, which was I was pointing out because of where we were opening, where I'd be looking for my highest odds trades for the day, right? And I marked off the first green zone, the lower white zone, right, which I said was a very important support area, right? And then we had the two areas above, which we never got to. Okay, so let's look how that actually translated, right? That was my plan. I don't have to figure all this out. I just have to wait for the market to come to me some days, right? So let's take a look at how that actually translated. And the way that that did translate was that the first time, look at this rotation from 1782 right down into the 1775 area, 1775.58, all of this, right? All of this location was fantastic. And it gave you an eventual from 1770, measuring just from 1775, it eventually gave you a move all the way up to 1779, a beautiful 4-point rotation. Everyone should have been able to get 1 or 2 scales out of that at a minimum of 2 points a trade, right? So think about this. Day after day, we're adding these 2 points for the most part. If you'll go back and look at even just what I've published, forget what I haven't published, what I've published in Twitter and StockTwits, right? Look how the 2 points are adding up day after day after day with very few drawdowns, very few. And then let's take a look at this. This was the next area that I said would give us good trade opportunity. And the problem was, see how this trade came in and really it gave you your 2 points pretty darn quickly. It was less than 10 minutes, okay? Most of my trades work out this way. Now, because we're going into a holiday week, I know the market will have the tendency to get a little bit slower. I took a great trade location, 1772, right? So how was I figuring out that I should take 1772? I had 2 areas to measure from. I could have either looked at this swing high, right? Well, the first thing, I could have looked at 1782 from the high. This would have been 10 down from there. I could have looked at this 1779. That would be 7 down from here. And I could have looked from 1777.51. If I took 6, it would put me 1 point behind and would still put me as the white zone as the closest area. There's a lot of things pointing to the back of this zone as being great trade location, okay? So I finally got out of this. I had a noon meeting, and I finally had the disappointment. This is where I had the trade. I put my stop at break even. I couldn't get it to lift. It finally came back and tagged me out right at break even. But the concept was correct. So I lost no money. There was something very important that happened here, by the way. My stop was sitting right here at 1770. And I had multiple people contact me getting squirmy about this stop. I'm going to put it in red. Okay. And here's the deal that I'm always emphasizing with clients when I'm working with them. If you're going to go and move your stop, you're just begging for trouble. Don't do it. Don't get caught out when you're trading. When you move that stop, you compromise yourself psychologically, in my opinion, unless you have something that's overwhelming evidence that gives you a reason to move the stop, right? But the reason most people move the stop is in an effort to defend the stop from getting hit. You make the assumption, well, it's already down a point. There's only 4 ticks left. I'm going to go ahead and take it out here, right? And that leads to one of 2 things. When you realize you're wrong, you click back in, which today actually might have worked, but most days doesn't, right? And then even if you click back in, any move against you, you're panicking again. You're taking another point stop. You end up, in most cases that I observe, stopping in and out, generating a ton of commissions, and actually losing more than had you just left your stop there to begin with. Not only that, but you're going to question yourself every single time you put in a stop. I know for my purposes that 2-point stop behind the zone is well researched, that I'm well justified in putting a stop at that area, so I have nothing to fear from that stop. As a matter of fact, I look at that stop as something that keeps me safe, and that helps me develop confidence and to trust myself in good decision making. And when I teach people how to trade, that's one of the keys that I focus on is developing spreadsheets and developing methodologies for learning, hey, this is really a way for me to develop trust within myself. I don't have to trust Simon because I'm going to learn how to do it on my own, and I'm going to learn how to develop these spreadsheets to confirm what I already think I know. So at any rate, moving on, the next area, if you look, if we're trading down here, right, and we want a nice rotation, how do I know that I'm not going to get caught up in this? Well, it's a good question. So from 1770, right, that puts us at 1776 as the first location to possibly try a short. At least for me it does, right? And you got a beautiful rotation down here of 2 points. Fantastic trade location, right? I'll highlight that. every zone in the afternoon provided a good rotation. If you look 7 back, right back, this zone right here, right? The back of this zone, even if you're measuring from here, 1773, 6 points gave you 1779. It didn't quite reach the white zone. That was my bad. I should have had it another point wider than I did. But look at the rotation back down, right? And then how do we know from 1779, right? 1773 was the first trade location that you would have wanted to take. But what do I stress about end of day and taking counter rotations at the end of the day? And that's this right here. Taking counter rotations last half hour, last hour of the day can lead you to getting stopped very, very quickly and to take a lot of pain if you're on the wrong side of this trade. And that pretty much breaks down the day. I don't have a lot more to go into except this. Please have a written trade plan, right? Don't go around running from strategy to strategy. Take the time to prove that your strategy works correctly. Have a written trade plan and be ready, right? Be ready to execute that game plan. That means go through mental visualization process. Relax your mind through breathing exercises, right? Write down what your concerns are before the market opens. Go through the pre-market prep. Look at the trend lines. Go do the research and think out your process. What has to happen for it to go up? What has to happen for it to go down? And improve your trading results through that methodology. But don't open yourself up to every trade out there. And if the trade stops working for a little while, or you take 1 or 2 stops, if you don't know what your stats are on that and how often you're profitable or not profitable, you're just going to jump from one indicator to another, one method to another. By the way, I think no lagging indicator actually works in day trading. I don't use any of them. I know people do. I think they're worthless personally. And as you notice, my entire philosophy goes on a very simplistic, very clean look. The only thing I'm looking at is tick divergence. So I hope this helped a couple of y'all. The pre-market video will be in the video right below this one. You're welcome to look at it. I hope this helps some people out. Y'all have a great night. Remember, anyone can make money trading. All it takes is a little self-discipline and perhaps a little guidance, and you have to learn, actually go through the process of learning. Then you have to be willing to reform yourself to the methodologies you know that actually work, and that's where the trick is. So, but the money's sitting there just waiting for you to take as much, literally as much as you want. You just got to apply yourself in a manner that's systematic and scalable. Anyways, everyone, have a great day. I hope everyone banked, and we'll see y'all tomorrow in the morning. Bye-bye.